Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I will be showcasing the 3 best beginner heavy tanks to grind in the game. As always, if you enjoy videos like this and you're a beginner, you want to see more content, how to get better at Blitz, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. With that being said, we are driving the IS-7 as the first pick. The IS-7 is always going to be a fantastic vehicle. The only thing that's going to be a little challenging is the grind itself can be a bit mediocre, and that is simply because of the fact the IS-8 is it's a skill-based tank, I will be honest, and not only is the IS-8 a somewhat skill-based tank, but same for the IS-3 and the IS. The whole line can be a bit lackluster to grind through. They're all decent tanks, but for a beginner, it's definitely not going to be the easiest experience ever. So that is one thing you'll have to keep in mind when playing through this line. Now, I have zero support from my team. My 268 is helping me, but apart from that, all of my heavies have decided that they don't actually want to do their role as a heavy. So we have to be really careful here, as I don't know what the enemy team is doing yet. We don't know where the 140 is. We really don't know where any of the enemy team is, but we do have a super conk crossing. So I'm going to activate my tungsten, and there you go. A 530 damage roll into the enemy super conqueror. That is a great example of the alpha damage this vehicle has. It hits really hard. And when you're able to use that alpha damage properly, you can definitely get some proper bleeds into the enemy. So we have the IS-7 on the wide. I'm keeping an eye on everything going on here. Unfortunately, our 268 is already dead. What a shocker. And I missed the shell on the enemy object 140. Most likely going to be tunneled, but we'll see. We will see. We got the super conk over here. Alright, well, already not the most fun experience. I need the backup to bat here. And that's going to shield me from the 140, so at least that's something, right? Alright, let's see. We got the super conk, which we are going to aim in a shell on. I don't think the super conk knows what I'm going to do, which is just load a high explosive. There's not much else I can realistically do to that player, so HE is the way. We do have support, though. The T-22 medium's moving up. We have the 140 over here, who is a threat, but we can get a nice 460 damage shell, and our 113G is going to get another. And that's actually perfect, because now our T-22 is going to roll behind that player, and that person is no longer, I would say, enjoying life. So we're going to move up. Let's hope that our T-22 can do a good job over there. There you go. That player's gone. We can aim it on the side of the super conk, get a 499 roll. You can start to see exactly where the IS-7 is just doing well, right? The gun on this vehicle is fantastic, and we use everything on this tank, and we have a really, really good experience. Get a nice shell into the Sheridan. We wiggle the vehicle. Of course, the Sheridan with standard ammo cuts through our track wheel, I guess. It's one of the most cringe tier 10s to fight in the game. But that's alright. E3 manages to bounce me. Shoot the E3 in the track wheel for 520 damage. I'm just going to push around the E3 and ignore that player. I'm actually just going to shoot the enemy 268 with a high explosive, and somehow it misses. That is the big downside of the IS-7, and it's the gun. The gun on this vehicle is very bad, so you will miss very easy shots sometimes. To make up for that, this vehicle obviously has every other strength. It has mobility, it has good alpha damage, and it has pretty good penetration for everything considered, but if you don't give this gun some time to aim in, you will miss some very, very easy shots. But this was a great game to really showcase where the IS-7 does well. We did over 3,000 damage, we used our armor, we used our mobility, and had a good game. So, yeah, not too bad at all. If we had ended up penetrating that high explosive on the enemy 268, we would have done an additional 400 damage as well. So we could have been sitting upwards of, like, 3,500-ish, but 3,000, actually we would have done more, but 3,350 damage is a good result. And as we can see, finishing top on the team without much effort. So pretty good stuff. Next, we arrive to the Type 71. Now, if you wanted my opinion, I would say out of the two vehicles, the IS-7 or the Type 71, I would go for the Type first. I think the line itself is easier. You grind through the Type 68, which has great levels of pen, great armor, solid mobility, and the Chisei and the Judo are also really good. Even the Ju-Nu. The only tank that really sucks on the whole line is the Mitsu 108, but it's a tier 5. I mean, you can play game modes and get through the line in, you know, a couple battles. But the whole line is actually very fun. And the great thing about tier 7 and up is that you have two different loadout options that you can choose from. You have improved suspension, which increases your mobility, or you have improved vertical stabilizers, which increases your gun depression and gun elevation. Now, personally, I think both are great. and I never know which of the two I actually want to use, because improved vertical stabilizers gives you just flat better gun depression, right? If you get placed on a map like Port Bay and you go to the medium flank and use that ridgeline, it's really important. If you get placed on a map like Mines or any map that requires gun depression, using the gun depression is better. But using the mobility is also great because if you're on maps where you need to climb or you need to very quickly get from point A to point B, you need to wiggle to get more bounces, then obviously having the mobility is also a really, really important thing to use. So I can't necessarily say one or the other is better, but what I can say is both are important to try out and see what you as a player like to use more. Right now we're using mobility. And as you can see, this vehicle does actually feel pretty mobile. We're already up to our top speed of 37 kilometers per hour, and downhill we're actually getting upwards of 40. Whenever you're on this map, by the way, leave your turret angled towards that bush, and that is exactly why. There are enemy tanks that almost always go there, and you got to be really, really careful about that. We did end up getting penetrated by the chieftain through the side armor, but at least we also penetrated our shell in return. That's really cringe, dude. Can't believe that VZ hit that. What a lame shot, bruh. Alright, well, so far we're already down a rather substantial chunk of our health. There's nothing I can do about that, though. We do have support, so that's the good news. And this VZ doesn't really scare me. We're going to aim it on the chieftain. There you go. Nice 420, and we back up. Alright, nice. Now we reload for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and we have our shots back. Alright, well, let's see if that VZ wants to poke me again. We still have that chieftain over there. And actually, it looks like the VZ is putting himself in a rather awkward spot because he's now on reload, and we get a nice shell into that player, bleeding him a little bit of health. And we have the VK-72 rolling off to the side as well. We are going to aim it on the VZ again. Nice 525. And yep, now that VZ is no longer in a good situation. That player has kind of cooked themselves, haven't they? Alright, well, we're going to move up again. We're going to aim it on the VZ hatch. We're going to load a gold shell to guarantee that pen and take that player right out of the game. So there you go. We've already had a really good game here. We have the enemy minnow, which we can aim it on the side of. That minnow is a much bigger threat than the chieftain, so we're going to get a shell into that minnow. And we also light that player on fire. And for some reason, they're not running a fire extinguisher, so it's just free damage there. We got the rear, actually the side of the chieftain. Nice 559 damage high explosive shell. And I feel like with the mobility, well, I was going to say with the mobility we have, we should be able to kill that player with a ram. But even if we don't, we're still doing pretty good. Let's see what that minnow's game plan is here. Can we light them on fire again? Let's aim in right where the fuel tank is. No fire, but looks like our team is probably going to take that player out of the game. Yes, sirree, Bob. Alright, well, this is a really good battle, as you can see. We used the mobility, we used the DPM, and this gun just kind of chunked everything. Now, we do not appear to have a vehicle back here. I don't know exactly where this E3 is, because we can see our E50M up top. We've checked over here, so I don't know where the heck this player would be, to be real. They're definitely not that way. Unless they are, unless they're on, like, this ramp here. But I got no clue where this guy would have gone, so, yeah, it's, oh, they are on the ramp. Okay, well, I guess they were. Okay, well, I don't know if we're going to get any more damage. We might be able to get, like, one shot, but the E50 appears to be bleeding that player out, and the E3 is just YOLOing. Yeah, I kind of figured that E3 would be somewhere over here. But now that E3, yeah, the E3 just cooked himself. Oh, well. We are you know what? We might get one shell out. We might get one single shot out. And aiming high explosive. Boom. There you go. I'll take it. We got 75 extra damage. I'll take it. But a pretty good game for the Type 71. I like the gun on this tank better than the IS-7s. The gun is better. It features better accuracy. It has the same DPM with just much better pen values. I mean, look at the premium pen on this thing. 362 millimeters of AP. And not only that, the best part about the Type 71 is when loading gold, you only lose 20 damage per shot, where a vehicle like the IS-7 or the Mouse are going to go from 460 to 390. So that's 70 damage per shot. It's a huge difference. Not only that, you have worse penetration on this vehicle, and the mobility, while it is better, is not a crazy amount better. So, in general, I do think the Type 71 is kind of the GOAT. And then we finish off with the Mouse. I personally don't love the Mouse in terms of its capabilities, but I cannot deny that the Mouse has the highest win rate in Tier 10. That's as simple as it is. It has the highest win rate in tier 10. So because of that, I kind of have to put the mouse in the best beginner video because it appears to be the best beginner tank. What exactly allows the mouse to be such a high win rate vehicle? Well, it's just because it's slow and it has a lot of hit points. If you're bad at the game, one of the biggest ways that exemplifies that is the ability to die really quickly, right? TVP players are such a good example. There are so many players that grind the TVP 50-51 and they YOLO right into the enemy because they got this dangerous clip immediately. Well, my Wi-Fi died, so we're back, and now we're in a battle. So let's see what we can do in the mouse. The general gist of the story I was trying to give is that mouse players cannot kill themselves immediately, and TVP players can. So it's great for beginners because you know, have to learn where to drive, and also why getting into important positions early actually makes a really big impact. So, let's start by... I don't know where exactly I want to head, but we're going to go to town. The enemy team has 4 heavies, Type 71, Minnow, E100, KV Jr., and a Destiny, so they technically have 5 when you add in the Minnow. And because of that, it would not shock me, if the entire enemy team was over here. We can see that really good side armor there of the mouse getting those bounces. And while the Type 71 may feature really, really good penetration, one thing it doesn't have is better DPM than my tank. So if that Type 71 wants to fight me, I will out-DPM that vehicle. And then not only do I out-DPM the Type, but I also have more alpha damage, so I just win the trades. That player went way too aggressive, learn their lesson immediately. We're going to reload now, aiming on the KV Jr., and boom, easy pen into the lower plate. You can see where the pretty good DPM on the mouse actually feels nice, right? We're getting those bleeds out, we're doing everything we need to. Let's aim it on that KV Jr., 3, 2, 1, boom, there you go, nice 305. Let's angle that turret so the E100 cannot reliably pen me through that armor, and we can move up over here. We have the Object 140, we have the Destiny, and I'm just going to wait. There's nothing the enemy team's really going to be able to do to me. So here's what I'm going to do. Personally, I'm just going to move up, get a nice shell into the 140. Let's keep on going. And let's push that 140 into my E100. That's, I think, the best play to make. There you go. Beautiful. That way, the 140 is now one shot. We do have the Destiny on my side, but, I mean, let's be real. That dude is not a threat. So, let's see if we can get a shell into the Destiny. Boom. There you go. Nice 491. We have the WZ on my flank, which not really sure what that player's doing, nor do I really care, to be honest. We're going to aim it on the rear of the Destiny. Let's load in that high explosive, aim it on that little back corner. 565 damage into that player. It's pretty good. Now we got the enemy WZ over here, who we're going to push. Obviously, they're going to run away. We are already over 3,000 damage, I should clarify at this point, so we've been doing pretty good, I should mention. Let's aim in. Boom, there you go. 750 damage high explosive, and that puts us up to almost 4,000. So, yeah, the mouse, it does have moments when it actually is really nice. And this is one of those moments here, right? Our hit points were amazing, because all we had to do was drive out in the open, and everybody bounced me. The DPM on the gun felt great, we wasted the enemy time, and we got a win. And that's exactly what you do in the mouse. So if you want a vehicle for just sheer pushing, the mouse is probably the way to go. If you want a vehicle for more holding, then the IS-7 and Type 71 is the way to go. But 3,100 damage blocked, 4,000 damage dealt, a super easy finish at the top of the team. That's what I'm looking for when I drive this vehicle. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these 3 choices. I can tell you that out of the 3, I still would recommend the Type 71, then the IS-7, and then probably the mouse last. What's nice about the mouse, though, is that you can grind 2 different vehicles. You have the mouse and VK72, and then you can also split off to the Ferdinand, which goes to the Jagdpanzer E100. So you technically have 3 different routes of vehicles you can go for, all from the Tiger P, which is pretty dang sweet. So that is something to keep in mind. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.